Good. Okay, so objectives. Understand the basic components. This is nuts and bolts. This is 101. I'm going to show you how to move some content from SchoolFusion or from another location, and just the very basics of posting an assignment, posting a test, posting a calendar item, and posting a news item. Not necessarily in that order. So those are just the nuts and bolts of what a classroom or a group page comes with. I want to do a real quick tour, and then I want to talk a little bit about the structure of the system before I get you guys hands-on. But I'll do some stuff, and then I'll have you guys work on it, and we'll answer questions as we go. The other day, this took a little more than an hour, so I'm going to do this as fast as I can so that you guys can get out of here on time today. Really quickly, when you look at your page, if you haven't, how many of you have had a chance to dabble a little bit so far? Okay, so most of you. How many of you are pretty much logging in for the first time? Okay, that's all right. Just really quickly, the My Edline button up here, going to be super important to you. That's the easiest way for you to get to all of your classes. That's how students are going to get to their classes. If you hover over it, you can see that you have a list of classes there. That combined calendar that's listed on the right-hand side, the combined calendar that's listed right over here, that's your combined calendar. So that's going to be all of the things you post on your class. You can see it in one place. Okay? Same thing with the activity feed. The activity feed is going to be important to students. Anything that's been posted to their class is going to lead to the top of that activity feed. So that's just a quick tour of the Edline button. The Tools button is going to be where you manage students in your class. There's some other tricky things in there that we won't get into. There's some 2.0 content in there. Edit this page, obviously, is going to be an important button for you guys to access. Mostly, I want to point out this one over here, the standard view versus list view. Understanding this little button right here, the very first one you get to, was key to my understanding of the way this system is put together. So I want to spend just a little bit of time on that before we go on. Sign in. Everybody signed in? Has everybody figured that out so far? Okay, we're good there. Okay, so I want to talk for a minute about this difference between standard view and list view. You guys get it? Okay. Standard equals design, right? This is what users see. Okay? The list view equals contents. This is the database. So all of your contents might not be in the design. So you may have a whole bunch of content up there that you haven't revealed on the design side. So when you're looking at standard view, you're looking at what the students see. Now, students and parents have the list view, standard view button, so they can go in and they can see what's listed in contents, but you have the ability to set visibility on every folder, every document you upload. So this is folders and documents. Just like any other folders and documents file that you have, or folder that you have on a computer. This is boxes. They function like widgets. Are you guys comfortable with what widgets are? Right, they have certain tools and functionality to them. That's basically what it means. So when you delete a box, or when you create a box, it's the lens through which you're looking at your folders and documents. When you delete a box, you're just deleting a box. You're not deleting the contents. Okay? Understanding the distinction between those things. Now there are times when you can be working in both. You can create a box and add content at the same time. So it gets a little bit fuzzy, but if you have that distinction in your mind, I think that it's going to be a lot easier to understand how the system functions. Everybody comfortable with that? Okay. So let's go ahead and navigate to a page.
So we should be working pretty much in the list area, so we can add to our database, update our folders and documents, so then that way it can be shown on the web page from the viewing portion in the boxes.
I have become much more comfortable working in list view over time.
Okay.
When I first started, I needed to understand and I needed to explore, and I needed to make some mistakes for a while. And so it took me a little bit, and let me back up and say that the training you're going to get today is probably 100-fold what I got. And so in time, it's, you know, you do learn it. You do get somewhere with this, right? No, it's okay. All right. I'm going to view this website as Carrie Dunphy. If you guys are not all logged in, log in and navigate to the page that you would like to work in for a little while. So hover over your Edline button and go to that page if you're not already there. It looks like most of you are. As an administrator, I have the opportunity to view as another user. And so I'm just going to view the site, even though I'm logged in as an administrator, I'm going to view the site as Carrie. You can see Carrie's classes here. 40. I'm going to go to the 40 class. Okay, so this is what a basic, I don't know what I did with my phone, there it is. The basic classroom page comes with these 5 boxes. I'm just going to take a peek to see which boxes you guys are on. The profile box, this is called the welcome box, the news box. This is a placeholder for a photo, and the calendar. If you would all hit your list view, standard view button, and go into list view for just a second on your page.
Now this is the same for everybody.
Yeah, on your page. I'm sorry, this is the same for.
This is the same for all the teachers, right? This is a templated deal.
This is a templated deal, yes.
So when we watch the videos and they look different than this, we can't
Yes.
make them look like the videos. That's probably what I'm frustrated.
You can make them look like the videos. So
Oh.
the world is open,
Now
right?
we go
Because
into
because you can do this much. I'm showing you just the nuts and
Okay, good.
bolts to be functional, right?
Okay.
And these are just the standard boxes. Okay, now we're in the contents. Sorry, I switched over to contents. But those 5 boxes are just the standard ones that come, right? You can add boxes as you need.
Okay.
So these standard folders are here for a reason, especially the assignments and the tests. Those exist and have special functions for your students so that when they go to their combined calendar, they hover over their Edline button, they go to combined calendar, and they click on highlight my assignments, and bam, all their assignments jump up. And I can show you what that looks like. Let me go ahead and do it. Let me go ahead and do it. I'm going to view as Fabian because I've been monkeying with his classes. So, hover over my Edline. He can go to his combined calendar. Now, I'm logged in as me, so I want to make sure that I'm viewing as. Can you all see that? The check mark is next to Fabian's name here. View as Fabian. So now I'm going to highlight when he has tests. Sorry. Right here, he had a pre-calc test on the 8th.
So that teacher's already put that in?
I messed with his classes so that I could do this very thing.
I was like, wow.
I'm going to highlight assignments, and you can see. So his assignments are coming up in blue in various places. So those assignments and test folders are already defaulted to your classroom pages, and this is what it looks like on the other end of the student end. Everything else on here is pretty much in the K-12 calendar, so I can highlight the K-12 events calendar. I can highlight the board meetings.
Where did you find them?
This is under combined calendar. So you hover over your My Edline button, and you all should be members of the K-12 events calendar as well. So your combined calendar looks like this already, to some extent. I can see a couple of them right there. Okay, let me go back in and view as Carrie again.
So can we add things to that highlight?
By adding things to the calendar in your classrooms, it will automatically populate that.
But then they can't choose on like only kindergarten events, something like that.
No, they can't. So that's part of the opening it up broader, right? So if you add a contents folder to your classroom page, your classroom page is just has contents in it. So if in list view you add a folder that's called kindergarten field trips, When you go to add a calendar event, when you go to add, and I'll show you how to do that, you can select kindergarten field trips as a category, and it will be something that they can select from. Y'all with me? Okay. Go back to Carrie. Okay. Really quickly, everybody from your classroom, go back to your classroom page. You're all, many of you are on list view. Go back to your standard view by either clicking done or using the box at the top. And just from your main page now, click on the edit this page button at the top and just mouse over all those boxes. Mouse over those 5 boxes. Do you see how you're getting options and gearboxes come up? Okay, that's just demonstrating for you that each one of those is a widget. Yes?
I somehow was able to change the name of my classroom kindergarten right to Miss Grant's kindergarten,
Okay.
but I can no longer edit.
I will
Michelle, I
come
want me to.
I will come by because okay, I'll come by over there. Okay, so let's go ahead and how many of you already have entered content into your welcome box? So only a couple. So let's take just a minute, enter some, hover over the welcome box, and just drop your cursor in and start typing. So in that welcome box, you've hit the edit. Now just drop your cursor in. It looks like you've already entered a bunch of stuff. Okay. This welcome box is what students will see when they view from the mobile app. So if you load a picture, the picture is far away. Never mind, I didn't say that. You have a question? Okay, so it could be that you clicked. So you want it back in? Yeah, just type. You can add. Welcome to Miss Studies.
Well, no, I can delete it.
Oh, change the font. So, the number is not
So how does it No, I just want to go see it. When I want to, so
Yes. Okay. So at least you have a chance to dabble in that for a second. Now let's move on to the news item. I just want to work through one by one. There's 3 different ways to add a news item. Right? I see Lori's face. Lori's like, what? The easiest way is from edit mode. So if you're still in edit mode and you know you're in edit mode, if you can see this banner up here that starts with designer, that should signal to you that you're in the standard view and you're working on the design. So if you have this first little thing that says designer, you're working on design, right? And so from that design view, from that standard view, if you're in edit mode, you have this little option right here to do a quick add. That's the fastest way to add a news item, okay? The only option you have there is to enter a title and enter content. So go ahead and try and do the quick add with that center little speedy green button. It's got little trails on it like it's moving fast. Everybody add one successfully?
Spirit, is there a way to make it darker?
There is, but I would, so it'll be darker once you select it.
Like this check mark?
The check mark that's below the text that you've just entered. We'll add that to your list of news.
But it says enter title, but nowhere you get to add what it is.
Just below enter title is another dialog box. It's really light gray. So just below,
So do I enter the title?
yeah, enter title. and
Oh,
then
right
enter
where it
content.
says enter content.
Yeah, that's all right. No, unfortunately, the welcome box is something that I'm not fixed.
Oh, maybe not for
That's
this.
kind of facing the text. But everything else you can post. It's just because that carries a zero letter and it's in the database, it's not on the page. That makes sense. One of those special boxes. You should probably do your news. And I'll show them all. I'll show them all that in a second. Okay. Yes? Is there an undo button? There is not an undo button. But if you go into list view, things are really, yeah. There's an undo button when you're in the editor. And you're actually editing. And I'll show you that in just a second. Yeah. Okay, so now let's try adding a news item, add another test news item. I told Carrie that I would use your pages and I'm not, Carrie. Add another news item using, tell you what, let's click done, click out of the editor.
Where's done?
At the very top right, up here. Okay, and some of you are going to get a dialog box that says save as, or ignore. Anybody get that? I see one up there.
I don't see that on mine.
Okay, everybody glance at Christy's screen if you can see it up there. It's just a gray box that says save as, or ignore. What that is you've changed the basic design, you've changed the basic content of the page. Either you tried to add a box, or you shifted a box around, or maybe you changed a title. And it's saying, you're changing the basic design of this page. Do you want to or don't you want to? For the most part, you can say save. For the most part, your design is set right now at design 1 is what the basic design is in there. Just go ahead and say save. If you make significant changes and you want to use that as a template, or you possibly want to revert back to something else later, that would be a save as. That's sort of 2.0 content, and it has some implications. So for now, just say save. If you don't like what you did and you want to pull up the reins, say ignore. But you have to pick save or ignore to get out of that dialog box. It'll never let you out. Yes?
Is there a way to take that news item and with one swoop apply it to all of my boxes?
Yes, yes. Yes, and I want to show you that on the next different way to add a news item, okay? So very similar to the way you just added in edit mode, even when you're not in edit mode. So you click done and you've moved out, and you're just in regular standard view, not in edit view. When you mouse over the news box, you still get the plus sign and the pencil sign, right? So the plus sign is add an item, and the pencil is add it in list view. Okay? So adding it with just the plus sign, it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to be looking at it in design view. It's much like the speedy view. But let's try adding one with the list view. So click on the pencil on your news item. Everybody get a box that looks empty like that? Or maybe you have 1 or 2 in it? Yes.
It decided where it wanted to go.
Are you in, so you're in a document.
I saved it and then, nope.
So you're in Designer, so go ahead and click done. That's okay, I'll get you there. Hover over, oh no, click done again.
Okay, sorry, say it again.
Click done again, upper right corner. Done. And then hover over news and click the pencil for edit and list view.
Yeah.
Okay, so this little add button on the upper right, hit the pull down menu next to it, and you'll see that there's a variety of things you can add. This is your news box. I recommend adding news items to it, okay? Don't add additional folders, don't add documents. It's just what I recommend. Everything that, any document you create actually moves really easily. So if you make a mistake, it's actually pretty nimble and easy to move it to the correct folder if you make a mistake. But for now, go ahead and click news and then to add a news item this way. And you'll get a whole behind the scenes dialog box that comes up. Good, you with me? Okay, this is where you can multi-post. This is where you can add a news item to all your pages, to multiple pages. This is where you can tag a news item to your calendar so it shows up as a news item in the student's combined calendar. So the first, it's called a document because anything you create, so any calendar item, any news item is actually creating a document in a folder, right? So it's creating a document in the news folder, or it's creating a document in the calendar folder for your page. So when you create this news document, it's going to say document name up there at the top, document title. Here's where you can pin it to the calendar, right? You can assign a date to it. Under add content, you have 3 options for adding content. Enter by hand, import an existing file, or upload a web file or something like that. I haven't explored that third one yet. If you hit enter by hand, the little editor is going to come up. So if you can go ahead and do that, just click enter by hand and scroll down a little bit so that you can see it. You should have a little dialog box with the editor for the content. Yes.
Are we adding multiple pages to this, like it's a website, or is this all just one?
It can be either.
There are buttons that says multiple, add a link, like to link it, so you.
Yes, I will get there to adding that content, yes. Okay, so you should have, under this multi-posting section, you should have a list of the available groups to you where you can move across and multi-post. Elementary teachers, you're probably just going to have your classroom page, and maybe if you lead a group or something. So you can create multiple groups underneath your classroom page. This is I think it's kind of exciting for you guys. You could create a reading group. You could create a math group. You could create underneath your page or underneath the first grade team page. You can have different subgroups underneath that, and you can manage them the same way that you manage this one. So that's your multi-post. You can multi-post a document, you can multi-post a news item or a calendar item. You cannot multi-post a folder, which makes things a little tricky when you have multiple sections, right? So, however, when you multi-post a document, so say you've created a tree of folders. For biology, you have Unit 1, and there's something else underneath that. So you have 3 folders, you're 3 folders deep, right? And you drop a document in there and you multi-post that document. It will automatically create the folders on the page to which you've multi-posted it, right? So if you create all your content and you upload all your content to your first section, and as you add your documents, you're multi-posting them, when you go to your second section, the folder tree will be there. Okay? I'm going to add a news item really quickly to Carrie's page just so you can see how I would go about doing it. I'm going to go to her 40 page real quick on the existing site. 40, page 1. Okay, so Carrie has a couple of announcements up here. There's a welcome announcement, so I'm going to copy this, pop over and put that in the document title. I'm going to go back, copy the text there, edit, enter text by hand, paste it in. I'm not going to multi-post it because I don't have classes listed right now. Actually, Carrie, can you tell me what period you're 40? What are the period you're 40 classes?
1, 2, and 6.
1, 2, and 6. I see. Isn't it called conversation? Oh, it's just called, there it is. Okay. Save and return. Done. There's the announcement, right? And if I hover over and go to Carrie's second period class, wasn't it second period? The news box isn't there. That's why. Okay, this gives me an opportunity to demonstrate for you how to add a box. So Amy, you brought up, can I add the navigation or can I add a box? I'm going to show you how to add the news box back to this page for whatever reason it's missing. So add a box. The content already exists, and it already exists under second period, under Spanish. So I just need to click on that and say OK. Now any box that you add is going to add to the very top of the page. And obviously we don't necessarily want it at the top of the page, so much like School Fusion, it's just drag and drop it to the location you want. Okay? I'm going to say done. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to save this design? Yep. And while we're here doing this, I'm going to show you real quick how to add navigation. There's a button right in the designer, add navigation. So, this is kind of important because this is the default contents to the folder, right? Everything that exists on your page is there right now. It's in that gray area. When a student accesses the site through a mobile view, that's the navigation they're going to see until you start designing a new one. So this is where it becomes important to go look at the mobile view at the same time you're designing your page. I recommend bringing over the main page, the main home page for the class, because on any pages you create underneath it, it's going to automatically have whatever you design for the navigation right here. So I will pull over the assignments folder. The calendar already exists both in the standard view and in the mobile view. So I'm not going to bring that one over because the students already have access to that in two places. I don't think they need it in the quick links or in the navigation. But any class information, any links, and any information about tests. You can also, if she wanted to put the news items in, news items, and you can pull these over as trees beneath, or as a fly out beneath. So I did that. Or, we can read this for a second. Within the news item, within any of these boxes, there's this little checkbox here that says dynamically add any new contents underneath. When you say done, the flyouts automatically appear, and any additional news items you add will also become a flyout. And let me show you what happens then. I say save, and the box has been added with the navigation over here. When I mouse over news, oops, let me say okay, I'm still in my designer. When I mouse over news, the flyouts are there for the news items. You guys want to take a minute to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll walk around. Yes? Yes.
Just that last step about the flyouts I missed.
Yep, yep.
This is what
This is a question.
So hit that edit button. Unless you have to see it, so that's that box.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. 2 seconds. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's a folder. It's a folder or there's navigation?
I think that, and I got this in here.
So the question is, does this content exist under that folder?
So I'm trying to, that's the thing, so I'm trying to, Fusion said I have all that information in files. I just want to cover this, so I know this information. And I want to make a nice way.
Yeah.
These news items.
I'm going to do this full class because this is one that's a problem. Okay. So Adam brought up a question that has been a problem that's come up elsewhere, and so I want to explain something for a second. When I added this navigation box, I added the design to navigation. I was in design view, I was in the standard mode, and I added a box. I did not add a folder or content, right? So there's an option in that navigation at the very bottom. And navigation. At the very bottom down here to add custom menu items, and it's you can't see it on my page. There's a custom link or a spacer. When you add a custom link and put it over here, or when you edit one of the links and you just start typing text in, you're creating a navigation item to nothing because it doesn't exist in the database. It doesn't exist in the folder. Does that make sense? So that's caused some hiccups in some place. So if you want to create a navigation item that goes to a folder, you first have to create the folder. Right? So you first have to go, there's something up with the way this is projecting. You first have to go to list view, create the folder that you want to create. So I'm going to go into class info. Actually, you know what? I'm going to back up and I'm going to do this for Carrie. I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to go to list view. And I'm going to go peek at Carrie's page. Okay, so she has an important documents folder. Documentos importantes. See? I'm going to keep it up with the main contents just for now. So I'm going to add a folder. I'm going to call it Documentos Importantes. And I can, if I save and add another, right, you can just do several in a row. I'm just going to say save and return. Now to add content to that folder, I got some documents I want to add, but first I need to grab the documents. So I'm going to go into her folder on the Fusion page. I'm going to download each of these. I'm hoping that it's just dumping on this computer to the mini downloads folder. And now, I want to do this differently because I'm going to show you differently. I'm going to do it from this view. So I'm just in the folder, but I'm in standard view. I click the add button, and I'm going to add those files in now. The reason I did it this way is because this way it gives you an opportunity to pick multiple files. So there they are, right at the top. Oops. Here's my opportunity to rename them. Do you have them named differently? No, they're just the file names. So here I would have the opportunity to perhaps make it a little more user-friendly or reader-friendly. Take out those underscores, rename it. Now that the folders exist, I can add the navigation that goes to that folder. So here it is, Documentos Importantes. I'm going to drag it over, dynamically add the contents, and say done. So now, because the content exists, the links will work. Where if I just created custom links in a design, there would be links to content. Does that help?
Yeah, huge.
It's a key piece, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay, I'm going to keep working my way around. You guys keep working.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, yes.
There is no navigation. So there is navigation right now.
No. So when you add navigation to the page, it will have the navigation. Okay. So if you go back to it there, and if you design a navigation, drop it in here, everything that's underneath your site will have that navigation until you design it differently. And everything that you add.
And we can't change the
Cameras. There is a way to do it. There is a way to do it. You want me to show you? I'm happy to. So go ahead and edit this page. Just mouse over to the next relationship. Okay, and just mouse over the box. Here's where your font.
like, yeah, well,
I want to read this thing. I was going to change. Yes.
Did that work?
Yeah,
I got the files now uploaded.
okay.
Downstairs, I got them full, so how do I get them to here again?
So they're all, the content is already on the
Yep.
page? Okay, so is it under?
You know what it is?
No, I sent it to your desktop.
Okay, so first you need to upload it to the folders that are going to cancel out of this. And go into your list view.
Oh,
Yeah, so it'll be done.
Oh, that's what
Yeah. And now it's one. And then design, however you want your comments to call out.
I think it was a contest.
Okay, so go ahead and add it there. You go to that folder. There, so you uploaded it all.
Yeah, so I just need to connect these.
So you have uploaded it.
No, I haven't. I
Okay.
did just make a folder, but there's nothing in them. So
Okay.
now I have it, or maybe I did. I don't know.
Can you open it?
They were done on September 5th. They made it September 6th.
So then I'm done, so then.
So go back to, sorry, cut out your reference.
Oh, I did it right.
Sorry.
I just put some data on it as well.
I did it at home. Okay, so the other ones I was at home, so these are figured out.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, real quickly,
Jenny just asked about adding something to the calendar. Adding items to the calendar is a lot like adding news items. You kind of have the same options. When you haven't clicked edit this page, so when you're not in the designer, you'll have an option that's a pencil, which is the edit and list view, right? Or just the add button. When you click edit this page, the option for a quick add comes up. Right, so that's right here, a little quick add. This button here is also an additional button. It's just a list view versus a mini calendar view. So it's a listing of the activities that are coming up versus a calendar. So so just real quickly, if you have a calendar item that you want to add, you click the add button, add your event title. Here, let me grab from Carrie's and I'll just walk through one. So looks like Carrie has an event on the 19th here. Puebla, el presente de los verbos. Okay? Create now. If there's any content underneath this, which it doesn't look like she has content underneath, but I'll take a closer look. No, there's not. No content underneath it. Okay. So if there were, she could upload a document. She could upload a link to another. So she could create by hand and put a link to another website in here. Right? She could put directions for whatever the assignment is in there, or just attach it to the calendar on the day it's due, if it has a time, or if she wants to put in summary info about this assignment. There's the option to multi-post it to all of her 40 classes. And then if you click, oh wait, I'll show you up here. Here's where you categorize it as an assignment, or as a test, or as just information. You guys all see that? The folders? So, back to your question about kindergarten events. If you had added the folder under the main contents of your page, there would be an option here to select kindergarten field trips. So in this case, it's an assignment. If I click save and add another, it's going to default to the assignments category or folder. So if you have multiple assignments to add in a row, I recommend using the list view and just cycling through them really quickly, multi-posting them to the classes that they need to go to. You won't have nearly this long of a list. I have this long list because I'm an administrator. All right, and then I'm going to cancel this. I see you. So the calendar item has a flyout, so we can look at it quickly, or you can click on it, and it actually is a document page, right? I created a whole document just for that event. Yes?
When you're in the news button and you date it,
Yes.
will it go away after the date?
It stays on the calendar.
But will
It
it
doesn't-
go away from my news?
It does not go away after your news, but you have the option to make it invisible or to make it go away. Just by going into your news folder in list view, you can manage all of that. So they would gradually drop off. So the box is defaulted to list 6 items. So after you have 7 news items, it will drop off. Okay? Yes.
So as far as placing assignments and stuff on our calendar, are we supposed to put it on the calendar for the day it's due or the day that it's signed? Is there going to be some kind of...
I think in general, the way School Fusion has operated, and you guys tell me, it's always been on the day that it's due. The day that it's due.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to know if we have to
Yeah.
link it.
Yeah.
So
The day that it's due.
how we're using the calendar to instead all our homeworks and our tests, or is there a different way to put our tests?
Are you asking about the exam calendars? About the teacher exam
So, like,
calendars too?
you know that
Yeah.
calendar right
Yep.
now on
Yep.
the inside?
Yep.
So we're inserting all our homeworks through there. Do we also do a test through that?
Yes, because there is a test category and a test folder, and when the student goes to the combined calendar and they select tests as something to highlight, it'll pop up
So
on
we
theirs.
no longer have to do that running homework thing down the side that we used to have in Fusion.
No, the combined calendar takes care of it for them.
Right.
Right. So the other question, well, I won't even go there. I'm thinking about the exam calendars, the grade level exam calendars. I'll solve that later. I'm solving that later, yes. Okay. Yep. All right, we're getting close to the end of time. To the end of time. But I want to address post assignments and files. Right, we talked about that. Showed how to post content. The picture, so it's not so wide, is a problem at Edline. They're aware of it. It's something we don't have control over. They're trying to fix that. So my apologies and theirs. The contents area on the side. Did we answer this, Adam? The navigation?
Yeah, I wanted to show you one thing first, but that's fine. I
Yep,
think we're
yep,
good.
yep.
I wanted to switch the contents here. I wanted to have some type of a title here and then have a category together.
Yep.
That's what I was shooting for, but I think this, can I add the word contents big there somewhere?
Yep. Can I show you?
Yeah.
That's 2.0. All right.
2.0.
See, it is. It's 2.0 stuff.
That's fine, we'll wait till later.
Let me make sure I hit my notes.
I would get rid of this one.
Okay. So there's when you click that add a box, when you're in Designer, and you're looking at it in standard view, and you hit edit this page, and you're in Designer, when you click add a box, there's existing content, and then there's also add new content. Here, I'll let you do it. So edit this page, add a box. There's existing content, that's what I've already built on the site, but then I can also add new content, right? And underneath this, there's a document, a folder, so some of your basic stuff you can create right from design view. If you're not comfortable with that list view, if you'd rather work in this, there's a way to do it to work in here as well. And then slide view, slideshows, blogs, discussion, as you're getting more comfortable with the system, there's lots of other things and lots of other tools you can add. Does this calendar talk to Google Calendar and you only have to talk in one place? Yes, but it's one way. It's an iCal feed. So if you enter it in Edline and you've got your iCal feed in Google, Edline will populate your Google Calendar.
Can you tell us?
I will tell you how to do that. Do you want me to tell you now?
No.
I mean, it's an iCal, yeah. Yep, I can say. That if you use the search, that's something I didn't point out.
It's a widget, right?
It's not a widget on this page, it's a, I can't finish that sentence, I lost it, sorry, it's 3:31 and I'm gone. But, it's a Google function, it's through iCal, right, it's not
So
an
we
Edline.
put all of our information on this calendar and it will put it in our Google calendar and then send it.
Yes. through iCal, by using iCal. And if you search in the help button, I'm going to point out the help button because I have found the help documents really straightforward, really simple. It's not all videos. Some of it is just, I just need the directions for this. And iCal is one of the things that's in there. So if you get to it before I do, Heather.
I always use it rehearsal files for my kids online.
Yes.
And I didn't see that as an option.
Interesting.
So is that something we're able to?
We'll have to explore that because I don't know the answer to the question. It's not something I have
Second
tried.
question?
Yes.
Fusion page quizzes, any easy way to get edited all of my existing Fusion pages?
So I am in the process of asking, I don't know because I don't know how the quizzes function in SchoolFusion because I've just never used that tool. I'm in the process of getting a quote from Edline to initiate the interactive classroom add-on to our site, which will open up quizzes, submitting documents or submitting files, homework files, things like that, all kinds of other interactive tools. We have found a workaround for the submitting files, so if you have a purpose for that. I haven't found a workaround for the quiz yet. Okay? I know. Okay? Thank you. Yep, absolutely. Please, feel free to stick around. I will stay as long as you are here. And email me,